WPIAL podcast on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by Edgar Snyder and Associates. They've been sponsoring us all during the entire school year, but especially here in the basketball playoffs, which are now in the books. 3 WPIAL teams bring home state gold. Sewickley Academy, the only boys team. Greensburg Central Catholic in girls class 3A. And once again, your two-time PIAA 5A champions, the South Fayette Lions, their head coach, Bryan Bennett. Our final WPIAL team of the week, and really I guess you could call it team of the year. What a fantastic season for the South Fayette Lions. Coach Bennett, we appreciate you joining us as always. It seems to be around this time of year when you do hop on and chat with us. We appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate you having me, Don, as always. Thank you for honoring the team.
An amazing team. I am not going to ask the cliche question asked of teams, of a coach of multiple championship teams, but I will ask you this. Every team is different. What made this team so special?
They were really unselfish and driven at the same time. Like they had expectations for each other. They expected each other to compete at all times and to live up to those expectations. They would challenge each other in a positive way to push each other and make sure we were playing at a high level.
Like so many teams, and we were sort of talking about it before we got started, so much talent in that if you took player A and put them on another team, they could be a 25, 30-point scorer, but because it's all about the system and the success that the system's had, that's kind of an easy buy-in then. It's the sum of the parts that really made this team so good.
Yeah, it started last year. We knew I had to put egos aside for the betterment of the team. And one of the big things that we talked about was after a game last year at Moon, we had a college coach in attendance and we didn't play well. And she came up to me after the game and she knew we didn't play well. I was upset. But she's like, I know what they can do. We went into film the next day looking over what the mistakes we made. And we discussed that, if Ryan's going to have a great game, that's only going to help Layla, Ella, Juju, or Haley. Like they're benefiting from each other when they're doing well. So the kids really, really bought into that. And that was a big key for our success, last year and this year.
Amazing success here in the 2025-2026 season. 30-1. The lone loss was in your trip down in Florida to Miami Country Day. I will ask you, were they that good, or was it a rough day after some beach time for the Lions?
We should have won the game. We were up 9, I think, with right around 3 minutes to go. I don't know the exact time. They switched to a 2-2-1 press. First time we've seen a press in I don't know how long. We had our press break in. We repped it in practice the day before, but it was a different type of pressure than we could even simulate at practice. Even putting 7-8 kids on the floor to simulate it, and we just didn't handle it well. But in all honesty, I mean, I still hate to see that one in the loss column, but it really helped to play that type of team. And we learned from it. We grew. I grew as a coach. I knew there were things that I have to do better with this group that we just weren't prepared for. And the kids knew that they had to do things. As we were talking in the huddle after the game was over, there was no finger pointing. It was a team loss, including the coaching staff as part of that. So that was what was special about this group. There was never any blame. It was all about the team, and either we didn't achieve it or we achieved it together.
How much did last year's WPIAL championship game drive this unit? A lot of these players were a big part of that, of the success that team had last year. Even though it didn't lead to a WPIAL championship, it did lead to the school's first PIAA championship. But you're playing a very good Peters Township team, up going to the fourth quarter, and then sort of the floor fell out, and you guys, I think, only scored 3 points. They end up rallying to come back and beat you guys. The fact that you guys were able to answer that and go on that 5-round run in the state playoffs shows that there was some sort of spark there.
Oh, for sure. When we lost that game, I walked in the locker room. I took full responsibility. There were things that we did. I called that night on the offensive end of the floor that we hadn't repped in a long period of time. There were things that Peters Township did that affected us, and we definitely made adjustments in the practices leading up to our state tournament run last year. One of the big things was it was either Bryan or Haley. Again, I apologize to them in the elevator coming down from our press conference that night, and they're like, "Coach, this is a team. It was a team loss. It's not your fault. We're in this together." So, that says what this team is about. Again, they're such great kids. They get so much credit for how good basketball players are, but they really are good kids off the floor.
Wow, that's awesome. That's got to be so awesome to hear, because that's the whole thing that every coach preaches: team, 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 team. And to have your players come to bat for you who are, beating yourself up, that's good stuff. Let's go all the way back. 2021. I think you guys finished in third place in your section. Bounced by Latrobe in the playoffs, I think. Quarterfinals, first round, I'm not sure. It was a quick exit, but that was a very young Lions team. When you think back to then, knowing you had some talent, not only with you at the high school level, but some obvious talent coming up through the ranks, did you envision this kind of success in these last 5 years, where you win 4 district championships, 1 runner-up trophy, and a PIAA runner-up trophy to go with now back-to-back state championships?
No. I knew we had talented kids. I knew we had kids that work hard. But to envision the success we've had, no, I don't think any coach could imagine the success we've had over the past few years. We've really been fortunate. I've been super fortunate to be blessed with all this talent. Again, a coach is only as good as their players. We've just been so fortunate, and we have good kids that work hard, that have buy into the system. We have, even this year, we have some really, really talented freshmen that could be playing varsity at other schools. We were at practice the other day, and it wasn't one of our better practices. And I asked my assistant, Garrett Del Rey, I'm like, was this a bad practice? He goes, no, I thought it was a great practice. I'm like, well, we keep scoring. The score's not, we're not blowing them out. He goes, our younger kids are getting better, so it's fine. Yeah. So, Haley, Ryan, and Juju had to go against Maddie Weber, Ava LaRue, Rachel Black. So they were only going to get better at practice. So, that's been the key to our success, is the buy-in and the unselfishness, and, kids that should play as for probably varsity as freshmen, just waiting their turn.
Iron sharpens iron. The great programs have that, where their biggest challenge sometimes is in practice. So that's awesome, and it's good, and why this program has been so good for so long. Bryan Bennett, head coach of the South Fayette Lions, back-to-back state champions, WPIAL champions 4 times in 5 years, kind enough to join us, our WPIAL final basketball team of the week, our team of the year, if you will. I talk to players a lot on good teams that are expected to win, and ask if there's that pressure. kids are kids. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not so good. But I don't know that it affects them as much as maybe the adults in the room. You guys were expected to win every game 80-20, cruise to a district title, cruise to a state title as the head coach. And yes, there were some bumps in the road, but as the head coach, do you feel that pressure of such great expectations, and that there's lots of things that can happen, off nights, injuries, someone just not feeling good, under the weather, that could to lead to a loss, and a lot of things you can't control. So I ask you, did you feel any pressure at all as this season was going on?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was talking to someone the other day, and I said that this was the hardest season for me personally as a coach, and the only thing that saved me were the kids, because the kids were just absolutely unbelievable to work with. We had a good time. They knew when to joke. They knew when to be serious. They were always focused. They knew the game plan. But with having 3 kids committed to Division I and 2 others that have plenty of offers and are going to get more offers, and other kids coming off the bench that could play at the next level. The fear of failure as the season grew on definitely crept in for me. But I'm just so thankful for our kids and my coaching staff to help me through that. They know how I am, and they lighten the mood always, which is what I always needed from them.
I appreciate that that honest answer, because I think a lot of times coaches don't want to feel vulnerable to answer that honestly, and I hope, as I do with others as well, that such a magical season that I hope it wasn't. You don't get caught up what's next, and get a chance to smell the flowers, enjoy the W's as they are piling up, and really enjoy the success of this group. And again, a big chunk of it has played their last game in a green and white uniform for South Fayette. So I hope that you were able to at least sit back and enjoy some of the finer moments of the season, although there was a lot of hard work put in. WPIAL championship, back on top. You win the title game and gear up to defend your PIAA state championship. Here's the road to Hershey for the Lions: victory over Milton Hershey, victory over Penn Trafford, victory over Baldwin, and a victory over Peters Township. So 3 district teams. And again, a big feather in the cap of all of Class 5A. Class A girls basketball in 5A has done so well at the state level, and that's a credit. You guys, a lot of the limelight goes to you guys, but there's some pretty darn good basketball in girls 5A.
No, there really is. I mean, everyone always talked about us, but there's tons of talent. There's a ton of great coaches out there that do good things. So, it wasn't always guaranteed that we were going to walk on the floor. And, people say, oh, you only won by this amount. Well, there's a reason for that. There are other good teams. So our kids showed up to play every day, but there was other talent in the WPIAL. So it wasn't a foregone conclusion that we were going to go out and win by 30 every night. That was unrealistic to think about.
Let's go back to this past week, beginning with the semifinals, another matchup with Peters Township, and you guys came out flying, up 9 after one quarter, holding them to only 5 points. They never got double-digit points in a quarter, 5-8, 3-8 for 24, and you guys were up 34-13 by halftime. Again, just sort of, we know what we need to do. We know what we want to do. Now let's go out and do it again. That was coming off the heels of a rather rough first half against Baldwin. So the girls were ready to go against Peters Township.
Oh, definitely. We watched some of the Baldwin game the day after at our practice and talked about the mental errors we made that just were absolutely uncharacteristic in the first half against them. And I don't think our kids need any motivation to play Peters Township. It's become kind of a little bit of a rivalry game for us. The kids know each other. I mean, they're friends off the court, but they and respect each other on the court. So you could see it in our kids over the practices leading up to the game, and in the locker room before the game, they were really focused and excited to play them. They knew that Peters took away a championship from us last season, and they didn't want to let them take an opportunity to play for a state title away from us. So again, not much needed to be said in the locker room to prepare our kids to be motivated to play.
Archbishop Wood, they've sort of become a little bit of a rival, albeit on the other side of the state. They also have a tremendous program out of District 12. You get them again after they knocked off Crestwood in the semifinals this past Saturday at the Giants Center, and you guys prevail. Tight really throughout. You guys just sort of slowly pulled away as a 2-point lead after one quarter, only a 4-point lead at halftime. But again, that grinding defense you guys played, they bookended, scored 11 points in the first, 11 in the fourth, and then 8 and 5, 13 points combined in the second and third quarter. Let's give some props to the way these Lions go about their work defensively.
Yeah, we knew going in the defense was going to win. Based off the films that we had statted and scouted, was shooting 14, 15 more threes a game than twos. We knew we needed to run them off the line. We were expecting them to do some back cutting for some easy layups. We thought the weakness for them offensively was them putting the ball on the floor and trying to get to the rim, which I thought we did a pretty good job. We lost a couple times. We lost some shooters, and they made us pay. But for the most part, we really limited them offensively to one and done, and we're able to guard the 3-point line and force them into the drives that we were hoping they would take. And they missed those shots, which we were counting on.
We were talking before. Ryan Oldecker led the Lions 15 points in that championship game. Her mom, Hall of Fame coach, Dory. So that Ryan's extremely intelligent. As you mentioned, does a lot of the things that don't end up on the stat sheet. So her ending up leading the way offensively. Kudos to her, 15 points. Juliet LaRue, who had a big title game a year ago with 10 points. And that's kind of status quo for your team, is that, the leading scorer, for whatever that means, the end result is the end result. But the leading scorer oftentimes will change from a Monday to a Thursday to a Monday to a Thursday.
Oh, definitely. We're able to. We have 7 kids that can put the ball in the basket. There's been all 6 of them have led the team in scoring at different points from the season. They've all had big games. So we're fortunate that it just makes us very tough to guard because everyone can put the ball in the basket in some different way.
Back-to-back championships, 45-34, South Fayette over Archbishop Wood for their second consecutive PIAA 5A Girls Championship. You mentioned this team, a lot of freshmen. The future is still bright. But before we talk about that future, let's say so long to 3 very important cogs that are going to be hard to replace in your 3 seniors, again, I think most coaches in 5A were hoping I would say 30 seniors, but no, only 3 will be leaving. Haley Lamondi, Juliet LaRue, and Ryan Oldecker. Fabulous for what they've meant to the program.
Definitely. They're great leaders on and off the floor. They do so well with our younger kids. They're so patient. They push them still in a positive way. Again, just great role models for our community. I'm going to miss them dearly. It's been a pleasure to work with them for the past 4 years. And they're definitely all 3 of them are going to have exceptional careers at the next level because of how hard they do work.
It's not a very big junior class either. So Layla, I would assume, takes over the mantle as far as trying to filling their shoes talent-wise is one thing. Filling their shoes leadership-wise is another.
Yeah, I mean, Layla's definitely she's a quiet kid, but she's going to have to be a little bit more vocal next year. She's a hard worker, basketball junkie that is only going to improve. And then the other senior next year will be Kylie Rumberger. Right. She's such a positive kid, no matter good or bad. You can always hear her motivating the other players on the team and patting them on the back. So just excited to see what those 2 bring to the table next year for us.
Memo to all, the green machine ain't going anywhere. It's still going to be running full steam. Big shoes to fill, but nonetheless, the program is once again going to be fun to watch in the 26-27 season. But that's down the road. Bryan, I want you to enjoy what was accomplished this year by a very, very special group. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to your staff. Congratulations to the administration, and congratulations to you. It's a dynasty. I think that's safe to say. It's a dynasty, and it's still got a lot of gas in the tank.
Hope so. We definitely have a lot of talent coming back next year, and I'm excited to work with them. And we'll see what the future holds. Yeah. But I know we'll put our best foot forward to hopefully get back and do the same thing next year.
Every year has challenges. Every year, again, it's a different group. So, you can, as you're laying on the beach sometime this summer. Those are some of the things you can think about with this group, especially sophomores and freshmen coming back. Bryan, again, appreciate your time. Congratulations on your success, and enjoy the off season as small as it is.
No, as always, I appreciate when you honor our team, Dawn. Thank you for the honor and having me on today.
#earned, no doubt about that. They have represented on the grand state stage the WPIAL well. They were number 1 in the WPIAL 5A rankings all year from start to finish. They were number 1 in our Trib 10 power rankings from start to finish all year. And when the state final rankings come out in a few days, they will be number 1 from start to finish in 5A girls basketball there as well. Just a really dominant season for the South Fayette Lions, WPIAL and PIAA champions. Thanks to their head coach, Bryan Bennett, for joining us. Thanks to our friends at Edgar Snyder and Associates, helping injured people since 1982. Edgar Snyder and Associates. Check them out, edgarsnyder.com. Thanks to Chris Lackner, our producer. I'm Don Rebel. We thank you for joining us. Just a reminder that coming up a little bit later on, we will start doing our All-Stars, our Coaches of the Year, Players of the Year, Trib 10 All-Stars, all that stuff coming up. As we put a bow on the 25-26 high school basketball season. I'm Don Rebel. Thank you for joining us. Rebel Yell Podcast, Trib Live High School Sports Network.